Hello there. This is Ken Herron, and I'm running for Congress in the 14th District of Georgia. The primary will be next June, first week of June in 2014, so it's a little ways off. But I want to get acquainted with you first. Now, I don't normally put on a coat and tie to make my messages from the back porch, but I just returned from a funeral of a friend, and I'm glad he was a Christian and I'm a Christian. I know that I'll see him again one day. But what I need to talk to you about today is the coming campaign. I don't want this to get into a fight on personalities. I don't want to make personal attacks. I just want to talk about the issues. And I will try my best to stick to the issues and not get into any personality things. I don't want this campaign to be a beauty contest. My opponent's a lot better looking than I am, and I wouldn't have a chance. Also, I do look a lot like your fathers and your grandfathers, so you wouldn't vote against them, so it might be an advantage, but that's not what this is all about. This campaign is on issues, and I want to cover issues that are important. Most of the issues were Tea Party issues over the years, the 4 or 5 years that the Tea Party has been in existence. I believe that term limits can be passed. Approximately 70% of the people in the United States wants the Congress to be on term limits. And if we pass the amendment and it's ratified by the states, then the next election after that would be the first people who are covered by that stipulation. Those that are already serving should not be covered. There should be an exemption to them because they were elected under a different set of conditions, and they would not be covered by that. I believe that Congress would pass a constitutional amendment that would cover it in that manner. And we got to have a balanced budget amendment. Now, that's not an amendment that we can pass and make it effective the next year. We're going to have to pass a balanced budget amendment that would allow us to balance our budget in 8 or 10 years. And we have got to have an amount to reduce the deficit for each year. If it's an 8-year thing, an eighth of today's deficit would be the amount we would have to reduce it in each year. Part of that would be reduction in spending. Part of that would be an increase in revenues. But I don't want to raise revenues or try to raise revenues by raising taxes. I think there are other ways to raise revenue rather than raising the tax rate. If we pump up the economy, the taxes go up automatically. And the best way to increase the economy and pump it up is not raising taxes. That's a good way to bring it down. In addition to those two things, I want to see us increase the manufacturing in the United States. We gave away our textile industry and lost over 1.2 million people working. That many jobs went overseas. We've lost our steel industry for the most part. It went overseas. We lost our food processing. They've all gone outside the country. Now, I'd like to bring all those back here. And the way they left and the reason they left is that we tried to put in free trade. I'm not for free trade. I'm for fair trade. We need to put on whatever it takes in import tax to balance our USA manufacturers against the world. There's not another country in the world that has free trade. To my knowledge, I don't know of a single country where you can ship things and not pay any kind of duty. If we ship into Mexico, we pay a duty. We ship into Canada, we pay a duty. Even though we all signed, or our country signed, that NAFTA, North American Free Trade Agreement. we still are paying a duty. They are shipping into our country free. With China, if we try to ship to China, they have a value-added tax and an import duty amounts to 25% or more on any products that we send into the country. In India, some of the import taxes are 60%, and yet they ship into us with no import duty. They bring their products in with no help. And in some of these cases, in China and India, they are subsidizing the industries that are making goods to ship to America. So it makes it even worse for us. It does lower the prices on the products that we buy. But what good is the price being lower if you don't have a job? And the other thing that I want to see, and we'll talk more about this as time goes on, is I'd like to see us label all of the packaged foods that come into this country. Right now, you go to one of the big box stores and buy a can of pork and beans, and it'll just say distributed by and give the name of the store, the food chain. I don't want it that way. I want to know, was it made in China? Was it made in Vietnam? Was it made in India, packaged in any of these countries? I want to know where it came from. If we know that the food is coming from those countries, our people will try to buy the foods that are made in America. And we will get more and more products made in America that will increase our jobs in this country if we can open up more of the food processing plants. And that's what I needed to say to you today, and we'll talk again in a few days. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America, and help us. Let's send a message to Washington that we need action.